Hello everybody. Welcome to another amazing workshop for the Encode Summer Hackathon sponsored by the Solana Foundation. Today we are joined by another amazing speaker. We are joined by Daniel from Pyth, who will be holding a cool workshop on Pyth and how to integrate with Pyth data. So everybody feel free to welcome Daniel. And yeah, hi Daniel, feel free to share your screen and start the workshop anytime you're ready. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and Daniel will get to them either during the session or later on when he finishes. Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel, and I'm a contributor to the Pyth network. So today, for this workshop, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit more about Pyth, maybe spend like 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're going to go through a simple demo on how you can integrate Pyth price feeds on your in your smart contract. The code will be available online. It's all open source. I'll be sharing the link with you as well later. But without further ado, let's get started. So I don't know how many of you here have heard of Pyth Network, but we are a decentralized oracle that publishes financial market data to multiple blockchains. Our market data is contributed by over 70 first-party publishers, which you see some of the names here on the screen. We aggregate this data onto the blockchain and we provide this data to anyone who wants to use them. For example, if you want to build a trading bot or a borrowing lending, derivative, synthetics, or infrastructure platform, and you need a way to price these assets, then you can use Pyth price feeds. So on this slide, you see that compared to legacy Oracle, we get data directly from first-party sources. And these sources include, like I mentioned earlier on, some of the biggest trading firm in the industry, which traditionally have been difficult to get the data directly from them. But they are publishing data directly onto Pyth network, and hence because we get this data directly from them instead of scraping from third-party aggregators, our data is more reliable and it's also it has less delay because if you get it from like third-party aggregators, there has been some time passed when you scrape this data and then you put it onto the network. Just a brief outline on this timeline. So we launched on Solana mainnet beta August 2021, and by April 2022, we captured about 90% of Solana TVS. And if you're in the crypto space in 2022, you would know that NFTs were super hot, and so we were facing a problem where we were failing to land price updates because we're competing for precious block space with these projects, and some of them would just spam the network for the newest NFT drop, and that causes us to fail a lot of price updates that we want to. So we started thinking about other ways to solve this, and then we launched something called PythNet, which is basically a fork of Solana. But it is like an app chain, so only Pyth is live on that network. And then we send price updates to PythNet, and PythNet then send these price updates to Wormhole and to every other chains. So it really helped us scale way faster to democratizing these price feeds to every other chains. And October 2022, we partnered with Cboe, which is one of the largest US options exchange. Yeah, and then let's look at the next slide. We have over 80 data providers right now. We have, I think the most updated number should be 250 over price feeds. We have over 125 integration partners and so on and so forth. Right, so with this flywheel slide right here, basically just shows the more data providers we onboard to the network, the better quality data we get. And with more data, then we're able to entice more customers to use our product. And with more customers using Pyth price feeds, you're able to generate more fees, which in turn, incentivize more data providers coming on board. Right now, as I mentioned earlier on, we have over 80 data providers. Some of these names here on the screen, you might be familiar with them. For example, for trading firms, we have Hudson River Trading, Jane Street, Susquehanna Tower, Research Capital, Jump Trading, and more. And for the TradFi side, we have SIBO, LMAX, MMX, IEX, and crypto exchanges. We have the largest exchange, Binance. We also have the second largest, OKX, Bybit, KuCoin, and so on and so forth. So yeah, we've been on a steady growth of onboarding more publishers. As you can see, we try to onboard at least a few publishers every month. For data feeds, we are vigorously ramping up more data feeds. So we not only have crypto, but we also have equities, FX, and metals. All right, so some of the consumers here, you might be familiar. You can see some Solana protocols right here, like Solan, Snowflake, Zeta, Drift, Cypher, and so on. But we also have other pretty big protocols that are using us on other chains, for example, like Synthetics, Ribbon on Ethereum and Optimism, and Venus on BNB, and so on. So we are live on multiple chains. We're live on Aptos, Arbitrum, Aurora, and all these other chains that's listed here. We have about 128 consumers using our data right now. We're connected to 17 blockchains as of April 2023. I believe this number has probably slightly gone up since we're in July right now. Yeah, so we're live on BNB chain. Venus is using us. They're one of the largest borrowing lending platform on BNB. On Ethereum and Optimism, Synthetics is using Pyth price feeds. On Arbitrum, we have Cap Finance, also one of the largest perpetual exchange. We're live on Sui. And yeah, so the future of Pyth, we're trying to expand to more chains. Basically, we want to allow user to be able to use Pyth price feeds wherever they decide to build. For example, like on Solana or any other chains, we want to be there for them. Also, we want to be able to provide a price feed for every single thing that you're able to get price data for. For example, like recently we launched this new product. It's called Rates, which is basically the U.S. Treasury bond rates. So I'm going to show you that in a bit on the website. But yeah, like in the future, maybe more commodities and stuff like that. Anything that you want to trade, you should be able to find it on Pyth in the future. So yeah, that's a very brief sharing session on Pyth. And right now, next thing I want to do is I would just want to bring you through our website, just show you a little bit on how you can navigate the website and some of the features that we have. And then I'll show you a short demo on how you can integrate Pyth price feeds in your Solana smart contract. And we'll build a very simple like collateral platform to show you how you can do that. So let me stop sharing this and share my browser. Yeah, so when you go to pyth.network, this is the screen that greets you. You should be able to see a price widget here with our price feeds. For example, we have crypto, we have equities, forex, and commodities. For commodities, right now we have gold and silver. But say, for example, if you click on any one of these, then you'll be redirected to the actual page of the price feed, where you can see the value taking in real time. And we have something called the confidence level as well. So the confidence level is kind of like the spread of an exchange. For example, if you say that Bitcoin is trading at 30K at Binance, but might not be trading at the same price at every other exchange, right? So all of these exchange, they provide a price. They also provide a confidence level. just to show you like how confident they are in this price, and you can use this data in your protocol. So we do show you a live chart of the data, and we also provide historical data for past 1 hour to all the way to 1 month, and you should be able to get like the OHLC data right here. And if you scroll down, you should see the price components. These components, each of them are a publisher that I've shared earlier on. Right now it is pseudo anonymous, but these pub key belong to each of the publisher, and you can see the individual price component, the individual price updates that they're sending to the network, as well as the confidence level. So if you go to like the general price feeds page, you can filter by equity. Then you should be able to see like all equity data. And one thing that I want to point out here is you can see that the last updated price is less than 2 seconds ago, and these prices are ticking in real time. And this is something that is pretty, like you can get this data easily elsewhere. For example, if you go to Yahoo Finance, you're getting 20 minutes delayed data, right? Because of, to get real-time data, you would have to subscribe to a Bloomberg terminal, and it's not cheap. The last time I remember, I think it's like 20 grand a year. And as a developer, like yourself starting out in a hackathon, that's not very affordable. Whereas with Pyth, you're able to use all this data real time for free right now. It's available on the network. Yeah, so I think that's about it for the price feeds. If you go to publisher, you can see our full list of publishers right here and consumers. You can also filter by the different blockchains. So if you want to look at Solana, you can just click on this, and there you have all the Solana protocols that are using Pyth. Then you can also further filter them by the protocol types. For example, like maybe EMM DEX aggregator. Yeah, so that's it for the brief walkthrough on the website. Right now, let me show you the example, the demonstration that I wanted to show you. Let me stop sharing. All right, I just shared a link on the chat. It's a link to our GitHub repository, and if you go to the examples folder, you should be able to, and you go to Sol Anchor contract, you should be able to follow along the demonstration that I'm gonna be going through today. All right, so let's just quickly go through the smart contract right here. So we have an example contract where really the main part, the main logic is here, which is loan to value. So it takes in a loan quantity and collateral quantity, and it locks the value, and then it basically loads the loan account from the context, as well as the collateral account. And this part right here, we are calculating, we're getting the price as well as the max price. And the way we calculate the max price is we add the confidence interval to it, and then we multiply by the quantity right here. So this is one very simple way as to how you can use confidence interval, but of course, I'll leave it up to you. You can definitely use more sophisticated ways to use this confidence interval. But just for the demo purposes, you can just add it to the price, and then we lock the value. And the second part here is the same, but we are doing it with collateral instead of the loan. And instead of adding the confidence interval, we subtract the confidence interval just to be on the safe side. And finally, right here, we check if they have the same exponent. If not, we normalize the value. And lastly, this section right here, we check if the value of the collateral is higher. So if the collateral is higher, then we return okay. Otherwise, we throw an error and says that the loan value is too high, right? So this very simple, you can say maybe like a borrowing lending platform where it's a typical check, where your collateral has to be more than what you want to loan, right? So that's it. And I want to go through the test script here where we actually call this contract. So first we have this ETH to USD variable right here, and we have a pub key. And the way you would get this pub key is you would go to let me share my browser again. Sorry, it's not very familiar with how this works.
All good.
Yeah, but if you go to the Pyth.network website and you go to like accounts and you can go to Solana DevNet and you search for, let's say, ETH, USD, right? And then you get this price feed ID, EDV, C, and so on. And so this is how you would, get whatever price feed you want and just copy the ID and paste it right there. Yeah, so if you remember earlier on, we were looking at this EDV CM price feed ID, and this is ETH, and we also have USDT. Yeah, this part is just like setting up the anchor provider and generating the key pairs. But the main part is right here where we test, we check the loan to value ratio. So loan to value right here, it takes in the collateral, which is ETH. So if we pass in 3 ETH right here and we pass in 3,000 USDT, then this is gonna fail, right? Because ETH is trading at like, I think 1.9K US dollar today. So let's change this to 1 and we should pass. So yeah, this is a very simple script, and let's go to the README. This part shows you how you can deploy this program. So I'm gonna just go through this Pyth together so that we can see how it works. Right. Okay, now so let's go to the examples. Right, so we are in the Sol Anchor contract directory, and we want to run this. It says refusing to override program address.json because I already have a program address.json here. So let's force override it. Okay, then we have the pub key here, and then we would have to change these two places. First one is anchor.toml right here. You need to change this. And the second one is in lib.rs right on top here. So once we've done that, we can then proceed to build the contract. Okay, we've built the contract. Now we want to deploy the contract. Okay, there's an error here. Deploying program failed. Sometimes there is wait, let me just check if I have enough. Okay, maybe I don't have enough. Okay, I have insufficient funds. So the problem with this is that like sometimes the RPC doesn't work and you might fail. But if you try a few times, it should work. Right now I don't have enough funds right here, and I believe the faucet is has a rate limit, so probably not able to run this. But let me actually try to. So I've previously deployed this on the smart contract on this address. So let me try to revert to this and see if I can run the test. Okay, it's gone. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to override the programmer address of JSON. But anyway, if you try this, it should work. And if you have issues, please come by to our socials and drop your questions in it. But yeah, sorry for the issue here. But yeah, I think that's it for the demo. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask your question. Try to help as much as I can.
Yeah, all good. And in other words, these things happen all the time, like Eduardo said in the comments. It can happen to anybody, so all good. But yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation and the demo as far as it worked. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I see that Eduardo is typing. But in the meantime, I'd like to ask a couple of things. Yeah, back at the beginning, you said that Pyth is looking to integrate with some other chains in the near future. Do you know maybe to share which chains are in your immediate roadmap?
Yeah, let me share my screen. So if you go to our documentation, we do have like we have a Pyth on EVM, Pyth on all these other chains, and like if you scroll down to, for example, EVM, you can see testnet. So these are the ones that are live on testnet, and usually the process is we deploy to testnet, and if it has no issues, and then we deploy to mainnet. So by looking at the testnet networks, you should be able to see what are the upcoming chains that we're going to deploy on. For example, I think we are not live on Mantle mainnet, but right here we're live on Mantle testnet, and I think they're like doing an ICO and they're going mainnet soon, so we should be live there pretty soon. But yeah, this is like generally how you would see if Pyth is live on the network.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense. And one more question for me, actually, if nobody else has a question right now. So what kind of project would you personally like to see built with integrating Pyth data? So of course the challenge that you guys have prepared and the bounty you guys have prepared for the hackers is very broad. But is there anything that you think is very much needed in terms of Pyth on Solana right now?
Yeah. So I think like the standard boring lending platform, AMM, perpetual DEXs, those are pretty good. But it's also cool to see more innovative stuff. For example, I don't really know if NFT lending works, but that's just like one example. How you could well, right now we don't support like NFT floor prices, but you could for example, I know like Hedis, which is one of the lending NFT lending platform on Solana. They also have their own tokens. So anything that has a token, if you want to build like a perp or DEX on it, you can use Pyth price fit, right? So my personally, I would say maybe a DEX for more long tail assets, because that's not something that I've seen a lot on Solana. Um, what else? Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
That's fine. Thank you. I think that was a very satisfactory answer, one way or the other. Um, Do we have any questions, guys? I see Eduardo typing all the time, but the question just never pops up. Um, but yeah, anyways, thank you very much, Daniel. If there are no questions, I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you for the wonderful presentation and the demo, and thank you to everybody else for coming. Just a quick reminder that you'll find all the relevant information in the Hacker Pack on Notion, which I've linked in the chat, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next workshop, same time as today. Um, yeah, I guess we have a question from Sumit, but that's a general Web3 question. I don't know if you want to take it. How can a newbie enter? How can a newbie enter into Web3 and contribute? If you want to take it, Daniel.
Yeah, that's a
I guess
pretty good question. So I guess it really boils down to like passion. If you're passionate in the space, you can, you can. There's always like problem to be solved. If you're on Twitter, on whatever platform, um, just I would say go to the GitHub repository of these protocols that you're interested in. Look at some of the issues that they have, and make a PR to these repositories. Like once you get that first PR in, then people will take notice of you, and um, in the process you're also learning about the protocol. You're also learning about like Web3 in general. So I think that's my advice.
Yeah, very solid advice, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Sumit, you also asked about the Encode Club Telegram chat. I'm pasting the link in the chat right now. But yeah, that's it from us today, guys, and see you same time tomorrow for the next workshop. Yeah. Thank you very much once again, and see ya. Bye.
See you.